Well, hello. I want to welcome you to another exciting episode of Pens in Use. This week, I have quite a selection of pens laying in front of me. I am kind of amazed how many pens I inked up this week, and it's probably because I've been busy. So rather than doing a lot of writing, I just have been inking. So let's take a look at what all I've inked up. Of course, and I'm not going to write with all of them. So one that I have inked up here is the Lamy 2000. That's one that you've seen before. Sometimes I write with it, but since I have so many, I will spare you that. I've almost written through my Montegrappa Barcelona Mosaico. Really pretty pen. Broad nib. I forgot to mention that, I think, in my review. But yeah, I just reviewed it, so we won't put that one up either. Now, the rest of these, I will talk a little bit about some of them. Some of them you just have seen recently, some you have not. Some are brand new to me. So, let's get started. Alright, so some of what I have inked up, you've seen before. You've seen this Mont Blanc 30... No, this is not even slightly a Mont Blanc. I apologize for that. This is a Kaweco V14S. Very fine point nib. It's for, fine writing and so on. So let's see. Start over here. Kaweco. Finish the K. Kaweco V14S. The ink is still KWZ Quizzy Grapefruit. I will show you the pen in just a minute more closely. I have a reason I'm setting it aside. Now, this next pen you saw last week as well, so I will just do a quick blast through it. This is the Mont Blanc. I believe it's an extra fine. And this is Iroshizuku. Konpeki. And again, I'll give you a close-up of that pen in a minute. Yeah, let's see. We're getting too far. We're too far away from this rating sample. Yeah, I have one or two more, and then I'll discuss my thingy. This is a Camlin. What is it? Camlin Sovereign. And the ink is Diamine Ancient Oak? No. Autumn Oak. Which goes on sort of greenish, but does end up drying more orangish. Again, you'll get a close-up of that in just a minute. And out of what's laying here, I think we'll do one. No, let's do two more. What the heck? Two more. This one, I will give you a closer look at this one later. This is a Columbus. '65. The ink in it is Noodler's. Purple Heart. Alright, so what did you notice about those pens that may be a common theme? And I'll add another one that could be there. This is a Parker 51. But I'm not going to include it just because its color is a little off from the rest. So let's lay all four of these down. So these are some pens that I just am finding very interesting. And what I have found is there is kind of an aesthetic. I like this sort of functional, minimalistic. Heck, we could even include Lamy 2000 in there. Although he's a little bigger than the rest, which surprised me. Sort of a functional, minimalistic design. This black, I actually do like the silver cap on this Kaweco and this Camlin. But a very functional design. It really, really, really appeals to me. And I found, in my collecting, I'm more about, what's kind of neat, what's nothing like what I have, what's really attractive. But I'm finding an aesthetic, and it's hard for me to define, that I really am liking. I just like the way these pens look. So, I think my buying may be geared toward this a bit. We'll see. So, you've seen this Kaweco V14S before. I have a whole review on that. It's a semi-hooded nib. It has a blue ink window. A very good ink window, actually. So we'll leave it here posted. The Lamy 2000. Semi-hooded nib. Decent ink window. I'll let it flop. Okay, you want to flop too. Great. Alright, so much for that idea. But, semi-hooded nib. This next one, the Mont Blanc 32, I have not reviewed, although I do have a neat point to make. Oh, he picked up a hair. I don't like the ink window. We'll talk about that in review. Semi-hooded nib, although interesting and very functional look. And something interesting I found about that pen, just from my own personal use. And I've been writing with that pen a lot, because I actually do like it, even though I do feel a little bit like I got cheated out of a Aurora 88. Where am I? Back a few pages. Holy cow. Back a lot of pages. Today, as I film this, what day is today? January 13th. I actually inked this pen up almost a month ago, December 19th. And it just blows my mind that as much as I've been writing with it, it's still going strong. That's a function of two things. One is the fact that it's an extra fine nib. The other thing it's a function of is just the fact that it must have a little bit larger ink reservoir than I think. Because it's not a pen that's been sitting. This is a pen I've been using a lot. Alright, so these two are new. This is probably from the 60s or 70s. This is an Indian pen. Camlin is an Indian manufacturer. Again, semi-hooded nib. And this last one, kind of a wild discovery. Back about the time my Aurora 88 that I purchased got smooshed in the mail, I ran across on Fountain Pen Network a small post about a Columbus 65, and I thought, that looks a lot like an Aurora 88. Well, I never thought I'd ever find one. It's not like they're that common, but one of my viewers, Ove Bjornsson, actually we've done some trading pens a little bit. And so I traded some pens, and this is one of the pens I traded for. A very lovely Columbus 65, a pen I never thought I would own. And I have to say, wow! So screw cap, very nice ink window. It does run through the ink very quickly because it's got a surprisingly flexible wet nib. Of course, semi-hooded. And it's looking actually very Aurora 88 like. If you could see the ink window, you'd be even more thinking very Aurora 88 like. Piston filler, and as far as I know, Columbus is no longer in existence. So very, very nice pen, and look at the writing. So yeah, I'm really getting a kick out of that pen. Now this is while I'm on this topic, this pen is not inked up. What actually kicked this trade off was he had heard that I'm kind of interested in a Parker 51. This is the Parker 51 we traded for. And since it's here is the Parker 51 knockoff that I've owned for quite a while. So when I review this Parker 51, I may have to do a little rodeo where I compare the Parker 51 with the knockoff. But just to satisfy anybody's lingering curiosity, now let's put the right cap on the right pen. Oh, awkward. Okay, there we go. So I do not have it inked up. I will do so. It's just I have so many pens inked up right now. I just feel like I need to write a couple of them empty before I ink up any more. But I couldn't help but ink up this one, which bears nothing to do with that. This is not semi-hooded. It's plain, which I like. It's very functional, but it's not semi-hooded. This is a swan. Oops. And this one I've got to turn my body a bit, just to get the hand motion right. 3240. And I think there's a maybe Todd in the name, so I will look that up when I review it. But the ink in it is, of course, Bookbinders. Oops, go over here. Bookbinders. Which is an Australian make. Red. Belly. Black. In the right light, and if it was dried, you could see that there's kind of a reddish sheen on it. This is an ink that's designed to sort of, well, all of their inks are actually designed to look sort of are inspired by snakes, which I think is cool because snakes are cool. But it's a swan. It's a British manufacturer. Dark green, I can't really tell because I think I've mentioned my cracked monitor, which I still haven't fixed because I haven't been out of my town since November. Because thank you, snow, and thank you, job. But anyway, surprisingly flexible nib. I am very impressed by this pen. So, and it's also an italic nib, which that was part of my problem there with positioning myself. I've never worked with an italic nib before. And I've worked with stub nibs, but never an italic. So when I review it, I'll have to talk about what an italic nib is. But anyway, really, really enjoying that. And since we're on the topic of pens that I traded, this is Dutch. He says that it's a prototype. It's a Dutch manufacturer. Interesting celluloid. It's a button filler. So, oops, and I just started to unscrew the finial instead of the cap. It also did not come with with a nib, so he fitted it with a Knox nib. So Larry Barones, I have a Knox nib now. Larry has mentioned I need to try a Knox nib, so there you go. I have one now. And the same feed is in my Waterson's pen that I'm trying to restore, with the same amount of distance from the bottom of the feed to the tip of the nib. So I am very excited to ink this one up and try it. But like I said, I just need to write some pens down. Now, I've done a little preliminary research on this pen. I believe it may be a Pontiac, which apparently is a Dutch brand that was actually made in Germany. They're suggesting celluloid. I'm not sure. Although this seam here suggests possibly a celluloid sheet that was then wrapped. But I don't know, so I need to learn more before I review it, because there's no branding on the pen, and the nib, of course, is a new nib. So I may try heat setting a Nemosine nib to it. Depends on how I like this Knox nib, because I really love those re-entry nibs too. So that was what I traded. That was my idea. Put a re-entry nib on there, so we'll see. What did I trade for those pens? Well, that's one of those deals that's between him and me, but I hope I gave him an equitable trade, because when you trade, so we have corresponded a little bit. It's very nerve-wracking to get into the trade thing, and I apologize. You've been seeing paper for all this time because I didn't realize my camera sensor had overheated and it was sleeping. But anyway, I get nervous going into the trade thing the first time because you don't know the person. You don't know. I don't know because I haven't done much shipping overseas. Will my pens arrive? Will they look at it through the X-ray and think it's dynamite or weapons or cocaine or something? I don't know. And the same thing. Are they just trying to get free pens? Well, with the pens we traded the first time, maybe not. But I did trade because I got some nice pens there. I traded one or two that were nice as well. So nerving. But this time I knew him, so I wasn't nervous. But if you ever do get into trade, think about that. Maybe get to know them, test it out with cheaper pens first before you try going whole hog. Just a suggestion. Anyways, let's look at what else is inked up, because this is not a video about trading. I still have this platinum inked up. I'm just meh with the ink. Love this ink, except in this particular pen. Platinum 3776. With a, there we're seeing a little of the character. With a music nib. And it's Noodler's Black Swan in English Rose. And I keep saying English and I mean Australian. And no, they are not the same thing. Australians live in an entirely different hemisphere. Alright, so a very attractive blue pen. It's the Chartres blue finish. And music nib. There you see some of the character that I like in this ink. Like I said, I'm not seeing it with this pen in a large scale like I do with my Lamy 2000 Broad. Since I'm doing a Platinum 3776 thing, I inked this up right before the trade pens arrived. So I was like, well, shoot. But I like this pen. This is a Platinum 3776 as well. I think from the shading I see with this ink, this pen would probably do well with Noodler's Black Swan and Australian Rose, although English Rose as well, probably. But this is Montegrappa, Bordeaux, I love the finish on this pen. I really wanted a broad platinum, and I never thought I'd buy it in this finish until I just happened to apparently go shopping for a broad platinum at the right time, because this was actually affordable. In general, no. Not even remotely affordable. So whatever reason, the price is down by a lot, so I jumped at it. And two more. This is an interesting pen. You know, I try with my reviewing to review pens at all levels. The upper level, it better interest me. The lower level, I'll try pens just at a gamble. So I only paid a few dollars for this. This is a brand I've tried before, although not a model I've tried. Check out the Dragon Clip, though. So I need to open my notebook so I can get the brand right and the model. This is a Lancivi. Crocodile clip. Celluloid. And the ink is Diamine Peach Haze. I don't know if this is actually celluloid, because I reviewed another Lancivi pen some time ago, which I have long since given away. It wasn't a bad pen, I just didn't care for the grip. I can't believe at this price it's real celluloid, but it kind of looks like it. There's several tests you can do, but I'm kind of scared to do them because they usually destroy the material. But you do have the flake thing. Unlike the platinum, it doesn't have a visible seam in it, so I don't know. It doesn't have that camphor smell, but not all celluloid does. I don't care, honestly. I think it's an attractive pen. One of my complaints about most of my Chinese pens, which the very last one I have that complaint, is that they dry up overnight. Not this one. This one starts up like a champ every time, even after it sits for a day or two. So very impressed with it. And when I review it, it's a keeper. I am keeping that pen because I like writing with it. I'm not even going to switch the nib. All right, this last one is a Parker Duofold knockoff. It's a Hero 7022, but clearly Parker Duofold. The finish is a little nicer than some finishes, but it's clearly painted on. There's no depth to it. Very tough to pull off. And when I first bought it, actually the inner cap here is just screwed into the cap, and it had come unscrewed from the cap. So it was quite the battle to get this pen writing. And it dries up overnight. You're about to watch it have a hard start, because I haven't written with it since yesterday. Oh, did I say it would have a hard start? I must be psychic. I even tried writing with this in physics today and said, oh, to heck with it. And went to something else. So off screen here. All right, and I don't have tissue paper handy. Oh, there. No, yes. No. Oh, heck with it. I don't want to mess with it, and you're bored. So I'll just show you my sample when I first inked it up. Diamine Amaranth ink. And if you ever look at the swabs and the writing samples of this ink, it's not a pink ink. So this is a very dry pen anyway. Also, thankfully, only a couple of dollars, but doesn't get the happy rating that the Length CV Crocodile clip does. So there is that. So those are the pens I'm using this week. Like I said, it's been a busy week. I've had basketball games, and I do a lot of sports photography for the paper and the yearbook and such. So busy with that, busy with teaching, busy with Science Olympiad. I just haven't done the writing I'd like to, or the typing, because I want to work on my novel. So I inked up pens instead. I am looking forward to a slightly longer than normal weekend, just because I know it's right after Christmas break, but there is an in-service day, and I don't have to go to that in-service because I went to one over the summer and gave up 2 days of summer vacation in exchange for having this day off in the winter. And you know what? Even though I'm just back from school and back to school and I'm only in my second week of school, I'm ready for a day off. So I'll probably record a whole bunch of pen videos that weekend. So I thank you for watching. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.